Hello, everybody. We got a KeyForge box opening today, and this is weirdly packaged one that I got off of eBay. But we're gonna break it open and see if we can get any Mavericks or maybe a Horseman deck. I hear those are, I don't know if like they're super good, but I hear that people have been wanting to get them because they're one of the more rare versions. And in a box, you get 12 decks, and every deck is randomly generated, even the personality card's name. And this should be a first print run, so that means we can potentially get some of the more banned names. Like I think some of them have racism in their name, and like fascism and stuff like that. And the way you can tell if a deck is a first or second print run is if you look here, it'll say contains one unique 37 card deck. That's the first print run. The second print run will say it contains a unique deck ready to play, I believe. And this is Call of the Archons. I'm assuming they will do more sets and maybe put different types of decks in, like certain decks will have cards from maybe a different set. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what they have planned. But we're going to go ahead and break this open and see what we can get. So looking at it, it looks like it's only been sealed once, so that's good. Because I did hear about people going and opening and see what they had, and if they didn't like it, they would just put it back in and glue it and resell it. So this first one is the Shielder that brands Crisis, and it's Sanctum, Shadows, and Dis. So it does have a chance to be Horseman because Horseman is Sanctum only. So let's see here. And looking at it, nope, there's no Horseman in this one. But we'll see what we got. Oh, I forgot to hide the little code, but I'm going to register them all anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And Ring of Invisibility. This is the first I've ever seen of this upgrade. It's a rare. You see by the star down here. Creature gains Elusive and Skirmish, and you get an Amber just for playing it. So I really like that. Elusive and Skirmish is they can't be dealt damage the first time when they're attacking. That's Skirmish, and then Elusive is if they're defending, they can't be damaged for the first time. So I got one of those. A Dusk Runner. Silvertooth, he comes into play ready. I really like this guy. So you can just reap or attack with him straight off. Bad Penny, that's always a good one because it always goes back to your hand when it's destroyed. And there's two Bad Pennies. Skeleton Key, it's a decent little stall. You get to capture one. Purge creature with 3 or lower. Oblique, that's pretty good. One Last Job. I don't know exactly how I feel about this card. I feel like it could be a game ender, but like it could just get stuck in your hand. But you can play it for 1 Amber, so at least you can do that. Miasma, good stall card, and it gives you an Amber, and there's 2 of those. Ghostly Hand, nice. It's just a gain 2 Amber, and if they have 1, you get to steal it, so potentially you gain 3. And going into Sanctum, we have Shoulder Armor, Staunch Knight, Raiding Knight, Grey Monk, Champion Anafiel, Bulwark, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures in Sanctum. I didn't even see how many we had in Shadows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I'm hearing you ideally want to find a deck between 15 to 18 creatures. That's a good round little number to look for. Then we got Round Table. Each friendly knight gets +1 power and gains taunt. That's pretty neat. If you have, especially if you have a lot of knights. Potion of Invulnerability. Hollowed Blaster, Take Hostages, Clear Mind, Cleansing Wave, and that'll do it for Sanctum. And Dis, which is my personal favorite because it has a lot of like control-y aspects to it. We'll start with the Terror, which is a really good one drop or first turn play. If your opponent has no amber, you just get 2, so that gives you like 2 straight off the bat. Stealer of Souls, Snudge, Schooler, Pit Demon. I like Pit Demon. And Ember Imp is another good turn 1 play. Because on turn 1 you can only play 1 card, but then your opponent gets to go second and they can play as many as they want. So this will limit them to playing only 2 if they can't destroy it. Life Ward, Dominator Bauble. Love to see this card because it lets you use a creature from another house that you didn't call that turn. So you can call Dis and use this, and say you would be able to use a Sanctum creature. So we got 2 Dominator Baubles. That's really nice. Annihilation Ritual. Anytime a creature would enter a discard from play, it's purged instead. And 2 Gateway to Dis, which is the board wipe for Dis. It's just a very powerful card, especially if like your opponent gets the board. Like, just say they drop 5 Sanctum creatures and you have nothing on board. You just go Dis and you play Gateway, wipe their board. You gain 3 chains, of course, and which means you'll be drawing 1 less card for 3 turns. But I think it's well worth it to keep pace with your opponent. So that's it for the first deck, and I think I'm gonna go through these decks and pick out which one I think is the most powerful, and I'll showcase it at the end. So this one is Elder Iglino, the Screaming Baker. See, I like the randomly generated names. They can be really hilarious sometimes, and sometimes you just get some that you can't even say. But this is a Sanctum deck as well, so it has a chance to be Horseman. And we'll take a look real quick. And nope, no Horseman in this one. So starting off with Shadows, an upgrade card that every time it reaps you steal 1. It's pretty nice. Urchin, you just play it, steal 1, and it's elusive. Nice little one. Shadow Self, I like him. He can take damage from like if you put him next to something, say he was next to Urchin, any damage that was dealt to Urchin would go to him instead. So I like that. And there's 2 of him, 3 of him, my lord. So pretty safe to say that Shadows would be well taken care of by the 3 Shadow Selves in here. You're more than likely going to see one in every opening hand having 3, because it's only 37 cards. Well, 36, not counting your personality card. And Moon Cursor, 2 Moon Cursors, Relentless Whispers, Nerve Blast, Ghostly Hand, 2 Ghostly Hands. Nice little... Okay, this one has some nice amber generation in it, especially with the bait and switch. Now, of course, if you're ahead, bait and switch does nothing, but you're not going to always be ahead. And this allows you to say you have no amber and your opponent has 6 and they're getting ready to forge a key next turn. You play this, you take 1, they still have more. You take another one, they still have more, and then you take another one. So you would take 3 of their amber until you had more or you're even. So that's always... I don't know if this card can come in multiples. I think it might just be limited to 1 per deck, because I've never seen a deck that had more than 1. But it's always nice to get at least just 1 when in Shadows. Staunch Knight, Protectrix, Numquid the Fair, and at the end of this I'll go over all the creatures in this deck because I haven't been counting them up. See how many we got. Gray Monk, Commander Ramil, and onto the artifacts. Whispering Reliquary, Hollowed Blaster. I gotta say, I don't really care for this card at all. I feel like it just takes up a spot. I mean, the heal 3 damage can be nice, but when you got artifacts out there that let you use a friendly creature or archive a card, this just feels so lackluster. But I'm not saying it's useless. I just don't like to see it in decks. That's just my whole opinion. I just don't care for it. The 3 damage. I feel like it would be a better artifact if it did anything else but heal 3. Now this card is very good. You just play it and you get 3 amber, and that puts you halfway there to getting a key already. Terms of Redress. Choose a friendly creature to capture 2. Radiant Truth. Stun each enemy creature not on a flank, and you gain an amber. Nice card. Doorstep to Heaven. Each player with 6 or more is reduced to 5. So say they had like a big turn where they gained a bunch of amber, like they may have 9, 8 or 9, and you play this, it brings them down to 5, so they just lose that much. Now Blinding Light is one of the better cards that I like. It just lets you choose a house and stun every creature of that house, but it counts for you too, so you have to watch. If you have a lot of that same creature that they have, you might not want to play it. But it's all like dependent on the board state. Now, I haven't seen him before. He's a rare. True Baru. You must lose 3 amber in order to play him. He has taunt, but when he's destroyed, you gain 5. Okay. I actually don't mind that. As long as he's not purged, you're gonna get your amber back. And he has taunt, so they have to attack him. And at 7 power, that's pretty high, because a lot of things in this game, they don't get a super amount of power. A lot of the good cards are 5 to 6 power. You don't have many cards like Klefki Dragon is 12 power, but it takes a lot to get him out. I mean, the more powerful creatures, they have their drawbacks, is what I'm saying. And that one doesn't. I mean, it has its drawback to, you have to pay 3 amber in order to play him, but that's a lot easier to do than having 7 or more with Klefki, because you have to forge a key at the start of your turn if you have the amber, and if you have 7 at the end of your turn and then you forge a key, you're only gonna have 1, and you're not gonna be able to play Klefki. So there's that. The Terror, Stealer of Souls, Schooler, 3 Schoolers. So a lot of stealing with the school, and Pit Demon, steal, and another Pit Demon. This is a good disc, like depending on what else we got in here. But I do like the disc creatures in this. Guardian Demon, Dominator Bauble, always nice to see. Fear, I feel like is all right. It's a love-hate relationship, I think. Of course, it gets rid of a big creature, but it puts it back in their hands, so they can just play it again. And you don't get any amber off of playing it either. I don't like that. I think this card should generate 1 amber. And Control the Weak. You can get multiples of this card, and I would love to get a disc deck that has 3 of them. You just choose a house on your opponent's identity card, and they have to choose that house. So say they have a board full of untamed creatures and you call Sanctum, well, they can't use any of those untamed creatures. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 creatures in this. Wow. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 creatures in this deck. That's I've opened 4 other decks besides the ones I'm opening here, and I've never gotten 20 creatures in a deck. So I'm gonna be excited to try that one out.